Everyone thinks that teens in our world today use alcohol, tobacco, or drugs to cope with everyday struggles. You may think they do.
But they don't. Welcome to the But They Don't podcast, a podcast for teens by teens. Join us as we cover substance use prevention, mental health, community conversations, and more.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the But They Don't podcast. It is everybody's favorite elder millennial, Jessica, the Youth Board coordinator, and I am here today because it is National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, and we want to provide you with some education this week. We will be back every day this week with a new episode talking about different substances and giving you some education on the dangers and consequences of use as a teenager. Today's episode is going to focus on fentanyl and counterfeit pills. So let's get started. First off, what is fentanyl? Well, I think it's really important for us to have the conversation that fentanyl and the dangerous fentanyl that we're talking about is different from what a doctor might prescribe in a medical facility. Medical fentanyl is made in a sterile environment. It's carefully blended and the dose is precise and consistent every time somebody takes it. It's carefully administered by doctors, and there are legitimate medical uses for medical fentanyl. And with medical fentanyl, death is uncommon when it is taken as prescribed by a doctor. Now, there is illegally made fentanyl, and that's where the danger really lies. Illegally made fentanyl is made in unsanitary conditions. It's sloppily mixed. The dose is random and variable. It's hidden in the drug supply. We'll talk a little bit later about how prevalent it is in different drugs. It increases drug dealer profits because it's really cheap, and it is involved in the majority of U.S. drug deaths in recent years. So why should I care about fentanyl? Fentanyl has become a national public health crisis. People, especially young people, are ingesting illegally manufactured fentanyl without knowing it and dying at alarming rates as a result. In fact, in 2021, fentanyl was involved in more than 77% of adolescent overdose deaths. Fentanyl is very cheap and extremely addictive. Drug dealers are dangerously mixing illicit fentanyl with and disguising it as other common drugs like Oxycontin, Percocet, and Xanax to increase their profits. This process is not regulated and does not undergo any kind of quality control. It's something called the chocolate chip effect. So I want you to think of mixing a batch of chocolate chip cookies. Not every cookie that you make is going to have an equal number of chocolate chips in it, right? So the same thing is true for these drug dealers who are mixing fentanyl in these pressed pills. It's not mixed evenly, and so like the chocolate chips are like the fentanyl, and you never know how much fentanyl is going to be in the pill. So you could take half a pill and share it with a friend, and the one friend may pass away and the other friend be perfectly fine because the fentanyl is not evenly mixed. Fentanyl is everywhere. An estimated 250 to 500 million pills are being made with fentanyl and are in circulation in the U.S. at any given time. The DEA recently updated their numbers and said 6 out of every 10 of the pills that they confiscated in 2022 contained a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl. That's just 2 milligrams, guys. 2 milligrams is equal to 2 grains of salt. Very, very small amount can kill somebody. And so what can I do? What do I need to do to help in this situation? So I think first of all, you need to know that teen drug use is at an all-time low. But teen overdose deaths have been rapidly rising. This is because the pills and substances that are being used are far more dangerous than any other time in history due to fentanyl. Adolescent overdose deaths in the United States more than doubled from 2010 to 2021, jumping from 518 to 1,146 deaths annually. With drug use among teens currently at a historic low, researchers have said that the amount of fentanyl being sold to them in the form of counterfeit medications and the lack of awareness of these risks that they face with taking these pills is a big part of the problem. Young people are buying what they think are legitimate pills, but actually they are pressed with drugs that are made in the underground market and not evenly mixed, just like I was talking about earlier. So now we want to educate about the number of overdose deaths and the dangers that these things present, because we've done a really great job at reducing the number of teens who are using drugs, but we still have a ways to go in educating about the current dangers of the pills that are out there. These aren't the prescription pills that older generations used or that teens sometimes would swap from medicine cabinets. Counterfeits are now being made with fentanyl, packaged to look nearly identical to legitimate medicine, and sold on the street to teens who are unaware of the risks that they pose. So we need to update understanding to know that pills are actually becoming the most dangerous thing out there. And with varying levels of fentanyl in different pills, both people who are experimenting and those who regularly take the pills often don't know what they are getting and are at risk. Both teens who will try drugs and alcohol and those who don't would benefit from having an honest, nuanced understanding of the risks that they pose. Fentanyl is very dangerous and it's very prevalent in a lot of different things. Even if you try to take a pill from a friend, that friend may not know where they got that pill from or who made that pill. So the only trustworthy source of prescription medications is from an actual pharmacy, and you see the bottle that the pill is coming from. So what can I do to help? Know the facts about fentanyl and share them with your friends. Share this episode. Fentanyl is often found in non-pharmaceutical made pills that look like and are sold as Oxy, Percocet, Xanax, Vicodin, cocaine, and more. We've even seen it in marijuana. Fentanyl is extremely potent. As little as 2 milligrams of fentanyl, an amount equal to 2 grains of sand, can kill a person. Fentanyl is involved in more deaths of Americans under 50 than any other cause of death, including heart disease, cancer, and all other accidents. Any prescription pill you don't get directly from a pharmacy or any powder form drugs purchased from a friend or drug dealer could contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. Real prescription drugs are not available on Instagram or Snapchat. These drugs are not regulated. Please do not buy any pills off of social media. If you are a parent or educator listening to this episode, please don't avoid the topic. Our youth are too important. Youth are dying from lack of information about this. There is a significant knowledge gap in youth about fentanyl and drugs. 35% of youth ages 13 to 17 say they don't know enough about fentanyl and its rate of danger. And 73% have never heard of fentanyl and counterfeit pills. Mental health is a key factor in this education. 86% of youth 13 to 17 are overwhelmed, and 79% say anxiety and stress is a common reason to misuse medication. Learn how to notice symptoms and support young people struggling with mental health challenges. If you have any questions about fentanyl, we would be glad to answer those. This is a topic that we are really passionate about, getting the information out to you. We also have a documentary coming out. Behavioral Health Services of Pickens County has been working on this documentary for several months now. We have the stories of 3 local young men who lost their lives far too soon due to fentanyl poisoning. And yes, we are calling it poisoning because they did not know and did not intend to consume fentanyl. So we'll hear the stories of these 3 young men, and we will talk more in depth about the dangers of illegally made fentanyl. We hope you'll join us May the 6th, which is a Saturday, at the Pickens County Performing Arts Center. The film will premiere at 6:30 p.m. that evening. For more information or to ask us questions about fentanyl, join us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at WeArePCYB, and we are on Facebook at Pickens County Youth Board. I will see you tomorrow for a conversation on underage drinking, and please share this episode. Thank you.